Hey everyone, John Pinella here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Guitar Just Because We Love It. Well, today I thought I would talk to you about another guitar in my collection, which is this wonderful Gibson J35. Now, a little bit about this guitar and a little bit of a history to the guitar. Many of you may not know about the J35, but believe it or not, back in the day, in between 1936 and 1942, which was when the original J35s were built, this was Gibson's flagship round shoulder Dreadnaught. It wasn't the J45, but rather it was the J35. Now, in 1942, Gibson started to make the J45, which then replaced, at the time, its flagship model, the J35. Wonderful instrument, a lot of similarities to the J45, really not that much difference at all. This particular one is a 2015 model. So I think it was back in 2012, give or take a year, Gibson reissued the J35. So I bought this guitar brand new in 2015 from Russo Music in Asbury Park, New Jersey. My good friend Mike Nicosia sold me the guitar, and what attracted me to it was, number one, the price point. It was less money than a J45, but to me it sounded the same, it looked the same, it played the same. I just felt like, you know what, why not go with a J35? And I'm really happy that I did. This is a great guitar, very unlike the Martin. It's a brighter instrument. The mid-range is a little bit more muted than the Martin is. The bottom end is there, but not as boomy as a Martin can be. But this guitar is really great, and it cuts right through the mix. Now, this guitar, primarily for me, is my Open G acoustic. And as many of you know, if you've been watching my channel, I play in open tunings a lot. Really love it. You know, maybe it's that whole Keith Richards thing. Who knows? I just love it. This guitar pretty much stays in open G. Now, one of the things about this instrument is that it's sort of the first time that Gibson really came up with what they're famous for now, which was what they called their advanced X bracing, which was really developed in the 1930s. You know, as I said, this guitar was made between 36 and 42. So the X bracing, which is underneath the spruce top, was really something that Gibson kind of came up with, and it really changed the tone of their acoustics. The bracing pattern was unique at the time, and it worked really well and still does to this day. Now this particular instrument is a full Sitka spruce top. The back, sides, and the neck are all mahogany. The fingerboard is rosewood, and the scale is 24 3/4. It has 19 frets, and it also has an LR Baggs, what's called a VTC pickup. Truth is, I've never used it. I've had the guitar for 7 years. So I can't even tell you if the pickup sounds any good. I don't play out with this thing. It's pretty much here at home in my studio in Open G. I've never used the pickup. LR Baggs makes some pretty cool stuff, so I'll assume it sounds decent, but again, I've never used it. Now, one of the things about this guitar that I really, really like is the brightness to it, which you're going to hear in a minute. But it's not an overly harsh, bright sound. It's a pleasing top end, just slightly rounded, but it really cuts through. And when I like to record stuff, and I'm using the Martin, and I'm using this guitar, you get a real contrast in tone. It helps separate the parts and the mix. You can really hear the difference. Even if you're playing the same exact part, you can really hear the difference. The instruments are voiced very differently between this and my D28. Now I also have a Gibson Blue Ridge, which is a Nashville tuning guitar right now, but when I play that thing in standard tuning with regular strings on it, it kind of sits between the D28 and this thing. But this is clearly my favorite guitar for open tunings, because I think when you're playing in open tunings and all those drones that you get, those drone sounding notes and chords, you really want to cut through, and if it's too boomy or whatever, too much mid-range, I don't think it's pleasing. So anyway, that's a little bit about the guitar. It's really a wonderful instrument. I love the top. I think it's beautiful. I even think the pickguard's really, really cool, that kind of zebra ebony looking thing there. I mean, really not bad at all. As you can see, the back, it's a very light mahogany, very different than the way Martin in many cases stains their guitars. But this thing is just really awesome. So I think what we should do at this point is let's give it a listen and you guys tell me what you think. I'll be right back. Thanks for listening, guys. So, for those of you who are into recording, let me tell you really briefly the signal chain that I use to record the instrument for this video. So obviously the guitar, the J35, and the microphone that you see in the video is an AEA N22. It's an active ribbon mic. It's pretty incredible. I mean, if you know anything about AEA ribbon mics, you know they're seriously high quality. This thing is no different. Just a great microphone. I love it. Just love it. Coming out of the mic, we go into my mic pre, which is a Chandler Limited TG2 500. An incredible mic pre. It's an exact copy of the mic pre that was in the EMI console that was used at Abbey Road when the Beatles recorded Abbey Road. Chandler Limited is the only company in the world actually that's licensed by Abbey Road EMI to reproduce their gear. The mic pre is incredible. It's unbelievable. The coloration, if you like that kind of stuff, is just so nice. It's so pleasing. Really just so much fun to use. Now, coming out of that mic pre, I go into a limiter compressor made by Warm Audio, which is called the WA76. It's really their clone of an 1176. If you know anything about Warm Audio, great stuff at a really good price point. I own a bunch of their gear. Warm Audio is really high on my list. Now the settings on the compressor were pretty basic stuff. The attack was real slow, so you could kind of grab those transients, hear the pick sound, and then the release was fast. In terms of the compression itself, it was not even -3 dB, so it was very minimal, just enough, but subtle and makes a bit of a difference. Now once it got into Pro Tools, the plugin that I used in Pro Tools for some EQ is the API 550B EQ. I love that plugin. My son Timothy, who's a professional audio engineer, has been encouraging me for a while to use this plugin, and it's really great. I did tame the high end just a little bit. I mean, I love the brightness of the guitar, but I tamed it just a little bit, just rounded it a touch, and other than that, really didn't touch much else. So that's pretty much the signal chain. Good quality stuff in that chain, but pretty minimal, nothing crazy. So that's really it, guys. That's the story of my J35. So as always, I really appreciate you guys watching. A couple of quick favors before I leave. Hit that like button. That would be just great. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell so you'll be notified when I put up a new video. And that's really it for today. So what is it that I always say about the guitar? Well, it's just because we love it. Hey guys, thanks again for watching. We'll see you real soon. Take care.